The year was 1979, when cinema audiences around the world got to see the most truly horrifying film about trying to capture a cat on board a spacecraft harboring a forgotten cosmic horror. Ridley Scott's Alien is the first of its kind, with an original story about normal astronaut human characters and a creature that would strike fear and adornment by those who witness the true might of the Xenomorph. Alien is a simple tale done with all practical effects, in a time before CGI would consume the hearts of greedy Hollywood businessmen. The film opens with an exterior shot of Nostromo, a deep space mining ship sent on a long mission to an unknown region in space where the crew is awakened by Mother, the ship's brain, so to speak. After the crew is fully awakened and having a good meal, they receive a message from Mother that there's an extraterrestrial life form on a nearby planet. Following the protocol of Weyland Enterprises, they must attempt to seek out this unknown life form. Most of the crew disembarks onto this unknown planet to find some of the coolest set pieces. One is a gigantic ship that crashed into the surface, along with a large fossilized extraterrestrial figure who is still bound to his chair, and the eerie close-up on its face. All this eventually leads to John Hurt. Yes, that's Ollivander from Diagon Alley's character, Kane, ends up finding a room where the xenomorph eggs are laying dormant until he awakens one. Up to this point, there's been slow shots with occasional jump scares, along with masterful ambient sounds that would define horrorscapes to this day. But once we're introduced to the true nightmare, the film takes a much scarier twist. It begins with the facehugger. The facehugger is a creature that has the xenomorph's eggs in it. It uses its legs and long tail to constrict other creatures to allow it to impregnate the new host with the egg, so the xenomorph will have a natural incubation inside the chosen host. And what's scarier is the process it took to design this creature. The prop artists were sick and tired of these midnight films where male characters would commit horrific afflictions to female characters, so they decided to turn the tables and make men the target of the facehugger. That's so awesome and up, man. After the facehugger is done with the impregnation, it simply dies. Oh, if you try to remove it, it has a defense mechanism where its blood is acid, and the host will appear to be back to normal for a while. This brings us to one of the most famous scenes in cinema history: the chest burster. Only John Hurt, Ridley Scott, and a few others on set knew exactly what was going to happen, but not for the rest of the crew of the Nostromo. They had no idea that this would create an unforgettable moment in true reaction and terror. They had no idea something was going to come out of Kane. This little guy is a baby xenomorph. Small now, but they grow up fast, and they eat just about anything that breathes. Look at the little guy's tail! From here, for the duration of the film, it's about trying to either kill the xenomorph or get off the Nostromo. There are many secrets about the members of the crew. Who's trustworthy, who's not, and if they were supposed to find the alien, or was this a coincidence that they came across this deserted planet? So where does the writer get an idea like Alien? We look at Dan O'Bannon, who years earlier worked on a film called Dark Star, which was co-written by him and John Carpenter, who also served as the director for the film. Dark Star is about a deep space exploration crew who's seeking out dangerous planets to destroy them so they won't have to interfere with possible colonization of other planets, and they end up fighting an alien. I've never watched this. O'Bannon wanted to keep going with the idea of an alien-like antagonist, but couldn't flesh out an entire story, in which he wrote a short screenplay called Memory. Memory is basically the opening of Alien. O'Bannon soon left the States for a few months to work in Paris, France, working on a to-be-failed project, Dune. What is with me in these sci-fi films? Here, O'Bannon became familiar with the works of a Swiss artist, H.R. Giger. O'Bannon was so horrified by Giger's works that it left a mark on him, and when Ridley Scott was looking for an artist to work on the film, O'Bannon recommended Giger, handing Scott one of his books titled Necronomicon. Giger created a lithograph titled Necronomicon 4, which would serve as the basis for the Xenomorph. The effects team would win the Academy Award in 1980 for Best Visual Effects. Another fantastic aspect of this film is sound. The soundscapes of metal clankings in the distance and the beeping of technology help build out this world. It's actually just amazing. Here, in this clip I'm about to play, we'll see the alien planet the Nostromo crew has landed on and what its environment sounds like in comparison to Ash, a crew member on the Nostromo, with almost complete absence of sound except for that of his chair. The sound design clearly illustrates the difference between the unknown dangers of the alien world and the organized security the Nostromo provides for those aboard. There's another interesting thing about this film I found extremely exciting and beyond most storytelling even in modern times. The main character is actually Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley, but we hardly ever spend any time with her until the third act. It's not that Ripley isn't there amongst the rest of the crew of the Nostromo. We actually get to spend time with everyone on the ship, giving more grounded understanding of who's who in the group. At some point, you'll think that certain characters are bound to die while others would fight to win, but because of the natural progression of this story, we eventually find ourselves with the real main character. 4 out of 5 stars. Ridley Scott's Alien is a masterpiece in horror and science fiction. There's a clear and obvious reason why this film is preserved in the National Film Registry. This is where they lock up all the good movies. I can't imagine what the audience of '79 were thinking when they went in and how different they felt walking out of the theaters. There was nothing like this ever before, never taken with this amount of attention to detail. And all the work done on the alien is just above and beyond. They actually wanted to make a living creature and thought about it as if it was real. Something I haven't seen really done since Nope. Sigourney Weaver's Ripley is a simple character that wants to live through this nightmare and loves cats enough to risk herself against the nearly indestructible space beast. Another testament to the triumph this film delivers is that Alien sparked an ongoing franchise, now spanning over 7 feature films, 2 spin-offs with Predator, another Alien, an upcoming television show, Alien Earth, coming in 2025, comic books, and video games. It keeps going. Seriously, if you haven't seen this one before, you might want to give it a watch. And if you've seen this one, then you already know how much crazier this story gets with its sequel.